Mingalaba. My name is Pin Pin. I am from Shwebo, Myanmar, and I now live here in Samut Prakan, Thailand, working in a canning factory. I have been here for 4 years.
Hi, and I'm Kanzarte. I'm from Mandalay, Myanmar, and working at ISRA Institute as an Outreach and Empowerment Officer.
We are your hosts for today's episode of Tune In to Worker Voices. Today's show, our second episode of this podcast, is on the topic of the importance of safeguards in grievance mechanisms.
Yes, at ISRA Institute, we work with a lot of brands and retailers interested in seeing labor conditions improve across their supply chains. And we hear a lot about the hope of labor exploitation risks being addressed by ensuring that grievance mechanisms are in place at supplier sites. Some environmental and social certifications are even noted to be satisfied, box ticked, just by suppliers being able to report yes to the question, is there a grievance mechanism in place?
Workers have a lot to say about this. It's a very common struggle for us. So let's hear from more workers about it and reflect on some solutions. And like all our videos, all the workers you will hear from work in the supply chains of prominent global brands and retailers. Please be listening for 3 main themes. First, a lack of security and confidentiality, leading to 2, threats and retaliation, and also general 3, lack of responsiveness and effectiveness. Essentially, no positive results.
I've seen how when some migrant workers in Thailand have an issue, they don't dare to report the case within their workplace because they don't feel secure. When they report, their names are exposed and well known, so they fear threats and retaliation. Workers see there is no confidentiality when reporting issues within their workplace, which affects their safety.
When reporting the issue to our line supervisor, he would gossip about our issue with others in the production line. He wouldn't handle the case immediately within a day. So we quarrel with him because we don't like the way he handles the case. He said he gets scolded by HR when reporting the case to HR, with HR complaining about how he cannot manage his workers. Why can you not talk to your worker? Why can you not manage the worker, they say. Actually, if workers and line supervisors were able to settle their issues on the ground, we wouldn't have to report our issues to HR. But it seems not possible, and the line supervisors feel that it's embarrassing and damaging to their reputation when issues are reported to HR. So they shout and yell at us. And when we react, it becomes our fault. HR then scolds us when we talk back to the line supervisors, saying, "Why do you talk to your supervisor like that?"
OT payments were delayed from 1 week to 7 to 8 weeks. Actually, many workers missed their OT payment. When reporting the issue to line supervisors, they would throw the issue to foreman and the foreman to clerk. They threw the issues around like playing volleyball. So the workers didn't know who to ask for help. When issues are reported to HR, HR doesn't attend to the issue seriously. They just leave us like that, not caring what happens to us.
When we report issues to HR, they attend to the case, but they don't handle the issue effectively, which makes the line supervisor become worse. They oppress workers in the production line more after we report an issue. Their attitude to the worker is, "Leave if you do not want to work." They will give you more workload to handle, and if they don't like you, they will find faults with you, pick on you, and shout at you all the time. For example, during a case discussion, the manager told the supervisor and foreman that 2 workers should carry out a task together if it's supposed to be done by 2 workers. Don't ask the workers to do it alone, they said. They nodded their heads to agree in front of the manager, but when they got back to the production line, they told the workers they still had to do it alone. The workers don't dare to report this. They are very scared of being targeted and oppressed after reporting the case.
I want to report the case to someone I trust if I have any issues. We want a grievance mechanism that is easy to access for us to report the issues without any obstacles.
I would like to suggest that HR seriously and effectively handle the issue of bad line supervisors.
I want to see effective disciplinary measures taken against the wrongdoers. If I'm wrong, you can punish me and I'll take full responsibility.
Buyers, retailers, distributors, and consumers around the world need to know the truth about the problems and challenges that we're facing on the ground.
It's good to hear about what workers want, but now about what to do. Let's talk about hope for brands and retailers to understand the problems we face. If brands and retailers were to know the truth about how so many supplier grievance mechanisms lack safeguards, and how unsafeguarded grievance mechanisms can actually be harmful to workers, what could they do?
This is a good question. Already many global buyers are requiring proof of a grievance mechanism or training on grievance mechanisms. These trainings may be given to suppliers by organizations like ISRA Institute or others. And actually, I myself have been one of these trainers before. And also, I'm an operator with ISRA's Worker Voice Hotline. So I've worked directly with line supervisors and HR, and also with workers in those same workplaces. What I can reflect from my own experience is training on grievance mechanisms is a good start, but training alone is not enough.
What more can help? As a worker, when I hear you say what you are saying about training, I'm thinking, if my factory's human resources and line supervisors have been trained a lot or not at all, who would know if they really improve unless workers can say so in a safe way if they were threatened or retaliated against after raising an issue?
Yes, hearing from workers to have some validation about how things are improving or not is important.
But not from an audit or employer-run tool or investigation or some other thing saying what workers said, but what isn't reliably what we really said. That's not real worker voice.
Right, the worker voice channel needs to be safe and independent. Yes, completely. But businesses are looking for things they can do. And we have seen some good things. So for example, the managing director of the workplace can ensure that their business has a no discrimination, no retaliation policy that is clearly communicated to all factory staff, including HR, interpreters, and line workers. You work in a factory, Pinpin. You please tell us, would you feel better and more confident about raising issues to HR if you heard directly from the MD or boss in your orientation that their company policy promises that workers raising issues will not be retaliated against, and if anyone experiences retaliation, they can report it and it will be addressed and disciplined properly?
Well, like you said, if managing directors or bosses could clearly communicate about no discrimination and non-retaliation policies to all the factory staff, including line supervisors, human resources, and interpreters, if I think I didn't do anything wrong and the interpreter is unbiased, I'll raise the issue to human resources. There's nothing to be afraid of.
And so what the responsible global buyer would do is to require their suppliers to have such no retaliation policies and systems in place, and to have senior people communicate this in the right languages to the workers and everyone else, including line supervisors and interpreters. Suppliers can be asked to show their policies translated into all relevant languages. The responsible global buyer would also then ensure independent worker voice channels are available to all.
The grievance mechanism system really needs to consider how workers can be intimidated and how the role of line supervisors and interpreters can have a huge impact on what actually gets reported. The higher level of management might know the policy, but human resources, line supervisors, and interpreters who are working on the ground may not understand the policy clearly. That's why it leads to a mess when they handle the issues.
What a nice chat with Pinpin. So that concludes our 10 minutes for today. We hope you all had some great insights from workers and hope to hear from you. Bye-bye for now.